Welcome to Gone Outdoors. Kyle Agre and Scott Brewer of Brewer Agre Outdoors. Talking hunting, talking fishing, and talking anything you can do outdoors. Right here on Kello News Talk 1320, 107.9 FM, and KWSN 1230 AM, 98.1 FM, both out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and the mighty 790 KFGO Fargo 104.7 FM. Today's Gone Outdoors is brought to you by Ray's Sport and Marine, your local Lund Boats and Bennington pontoon dealer in Moorhead. RaysMarineMoorhead.com. Adventure RV across from the Fairgrounds Inn, West Fargo, your number one RV dealer in the FM area. AdventureRVSales.com. Devil's Lake Tourism. Looking for wide open spaces, amazing fishing, and a refreshing escape? Discover Devil's Lake, where adventure, relaxation, and North Dakota hospitality come together. Plan your stay at devilslakend.com. The Outdoor Adventure Foundation. For over 17 years, the foundation has created life-changing outdoor adventures for youth facing life-threatening illness, injured veterans, and first responders. Learn more at outdooradventurefoundation.org. Strand Ace Hardware, Barnesville and downtown Pelican Rapids, proudly family-owned for 70 years. Valley Truck Gear, protecting your equipment. The Outdoorsman, and Onyx Fish Midwest, cast beyond the familiar. And welcome back to this morning's Gone Outdoors. It is a pleasure to have you with us this morning as we talk hunting and fishing and anything we can do outdoors. And I know for a fact that at least one of us has had their fill of hunting, fishing, maybe not hunting, but if you count foraging as hunting, maybe hunting, fishing, and anything you can do outdoors for the last week. Mr. Brewer, welcome back after a week's vacation.
You must be talking about yourself, because I don't think I could ever have my fill of all of those things that you mentioned. And yeah, thank you. It's good to be back into town, kind of good. You know how it is when you're on vacation. After about a week, it's like, I got so much stuff to do at home, but then you get home and you're like, oh, I wish I was back on vacation.
Such is the struggle, isn't it?
Yes. But yeah, vacation was good. As we talked a little bit about last week, we were up at Little Boy Lake, sticking around in a little cabin in the woods for a week. Yeah, it was good. Fishing was okay. Not great, but not bad either. Well, fishing was great. The catching was not bad. Foraging wasn't too bad. Crayfish trapping was good. We always enjoy a lot of crayfish trapping. And people wonder, well, why do you go to all that work to trap crayfish? I mean, why not?
Because they taste good?
Because they taste good and you're there. And it's good for the lake. I don't know if we're making a difference on the lake. Probably not.
You're not hurting it.
But the rusty crayfish are an invasive species. And you're not hurting the lake. You might be hurting a couple crayfish, but you're not hurting the lake. So, yeah. And it just so happens to be the place where we get a lot of our maple sap. So we did a little bit of pre-work for next year there. It's everything outdoors at this place. So you can't go wrong.
No, absolutely not. And what a beautiful place to have a vacation. North central Minnesota in the Longville area. Pine trees.
Turtle races.
Can't
forget the turtle races. I really wonder how many towns in Minnesota have turtle races once a week. Well, I know there's a few.
I know they do in Perham.
Yep.
And Longville.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's others. Yeah. Did your turtle win?
No. I didn't race.
Okay.
But I was there.
It's always fun, right? To come into the small vacation land communities. And
yes.
And you've got... Right, you've got the local pub, you've got the bait store, you've got the bottle shop, and you've got a couple of tourist shops, if you will,
ice
a coffee
cream
shop
store.
Or ice cream. Yeah, ice cream.
Yeah,
it's been a good week for that.
Oh yeah, I gotta believe those turtle races. If it wasn't for that, some of these small towns wouldn't be what they are today, because there's a lot of them that the businesses slowly start to dwindle. And the turtle rate, just that one really good day during the week, really helps them out a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. You see people making their stops at all of the aforementioned places, the grocery store and all the others, while they're
Yeah.
in there for the turtle races, and it's usually a good time. So I'm glad to hear you had a great week. It's always good to get out and recharge your batteries. You work hard all year long, and taking a little bit of time off is definitely a good thing, and especially when you're doing it with your family, that's for sure.
And you know what else is going on this last week, Kyle?
What's that?
Something that I've wanted to always go to, and I know you've always wanted to, and neither one of us have ever been there. And I don't know if we'll ever get there or not. And that's ICAST, which is the International Convention of Allied Sport Fishing Trades, which is a big, long name for ICAST. ICAST is basically every major tackle manufacturer, marine manufacturer in the world is there. And they are showing off all of their new stuff for next season.
It's always fun to see the updates from the people who are there. It's fun to see the new products. It's fun to see when the awards are given out, who comes away with best new product of the year. And obviously that's subjective based on whoever they have for judges, but
Yep.
still it gives you a really neat idea of what is coming down the pipe.
Yeah, it certainly does. And we've been seeing this stuff now for a couple of weeks. What was it, 2 weeks ago when Garmin come out with their new transducer?
Yep. New live scope.
Yep.
Live scope 2.
So, and that wasn't just a mistake as to when it happened. It came out a week before ICAST, and there's so much of this stuff that's coming out now that anglers are going to start drooling for because they want to get their hands on it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Really neat to follow. It's been fun all week following along, and we'll see that stuff. It'll trickle down into our stores, in our hands, and our fishing shops in the not too distant future. And so it's going to be exciting. Always exciting to see what they got coming along. And speaking of what we've got coming along, Scott, we've got some great guests coming along on this morning's Gone Outdoors. Bernie Barringer, a friend of ours. He's been a guest on the show before. He is a bear outfitter and educator extraordinaire. This guy is a bear hunting guru, and he's the promoter and the owner of the International Black Bear Show. And we're going to learn a little bit about what that show is and what it's all about. We'll talk to Doug Leier, North Dakota Game and Fish outreach biologist, and also KFGO morning co-host. And we'll talk to him just a little bit to continue on with our hunting preseason preparation series that we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. And we'll wrap the show up today with Joel Nelson and talk a little Onyx Fish and the exciting things they have coming within that app, which is already an incredible tool. And I can't wait to hear what he has coming out next that's going to make it even better. Folks, it's going to be a great show. We are so glad you joined us. Stick with us. We got to take a break now, but we'll be back after the break with more Gone Outdoors. Onyx Fish Midwest, covering 11 states on both iOS and Android. All your fishing information is one click away. Searching for new destinations by species, abundance, or trophy potential, it's all at your fingertips, including access points and shoreline ownership.
You get confused by special lake regulations? They're all on Onyx Fish Midwest. Real-time weather for your exact location, aerial imagery, and waypoint management, all right to your mobile device. Use code BA Outdoors to get 20% off your subscription at onyxmaps.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Gone Outdoor Radio. Scotty Brewer, Kyle Agre of Brewer Agre Outdoors, and you are listening to Kello News Talk, or KWSN in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or KFGO, the mighty 790 in Fargo Moorhead. We're going to chat with the bear expert, the bear, what's his
the bear professor?
The bear professor. That's what I was looking for. The bear professor. So this is Bernie Barringer. He's an author. He's a bear outfitter. He's an educator. He is our Brewer Agre outdoor bear expert, but he is known as the bear professor. And he's also the owner and promoter, who else would do it, of the International Black Bear Show. How you doing, Bernie?
Doing great.
So this International Black Bear Show, we're pretty fortunate, in Fargo. It's what, 3.5 hours away? So it's
Yeah, it's probably about that.
relatively close for an international show. It's in Grand Rapids. It's July 30th or 31st and August 2nd. So it's coming up pretty soon. And you moved it this year a little bit.
Yeah, we did. It was so hot and humid last year that our attendance was down, and we had it at a fairgrounds that didn't have any air conditioning. And so, at the request of our vendors, I guess you'd say, we rented a huge building in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and it's completely air conditioned. It has a lot better parking, and we still have the camping. It's just a less than a 10-minute walk away. A lot of people like to just come and camp for the weekend and hang around, just sit around the campfire and talk hunting and stuff like that in the evenings.
So, Bernie, you just mentioned vendors. You earlier before we hit the play button, we uh, we were talking about how many you have, and you said you got 80 vendors, and you're almost full, but you still got a little bit room for a couple more. But it's
Yeah,
almost full.
I got about 80 vendors, and I've got about 5 spots left, a couple bulk space spots, and then a couple of booths. And yeah, it's looking really exciting. We got people coming from all over the place. We got outfitters coming from Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario. We got taxidermists, and it's pretty cool to see how it's growing. This is the second year, and it's more than double as big as it was last year.
So, Bernie, as we're going out and sharing this with our listeners, what should they plan for? Are they going to be able to book a trip right there at the show? Would they want to plan to come up for more than one day? Do they want to be there the whole time?
I there's a lot to see, and there's a lot of seminars by expert hunters, and everything from about how to bait bears to how to skin a bear, and how to make the most of your bear meat from field to table. It just tons of information about black bear biology and habits and behavior and stuff like that. So the seminars are worth it. Tom Miranda is going to be there on Saturday all day, and just kind of meet and greeting people. And yeah, it's going to be really cool. It's family friendly too. We got lots of youth activities and stuff. So I encourage people to just come and bring the family and camp and stay for the weekend.
Yeah, when I was looking through your seminar list, it looked like you had close to 20 different seminars. I don't think there was
Yeah.
the same seminar twice on that list.
No, it's actually really diverse, and the seminars it's only $15 to get into the door, and everybody under 13 is free. So, I mean, just the seminars alone are worth it, but there's also a lot of other cool things that you can see. And, there's always raffles at these things, and the youth activities, and just, talk to taxidermists and outfitters. There's just, you can get your supplies there. There's one bait supply dealer that's bringing two semi loads of trail mix. So, I
Wow.
mean, you can bring a truck and trailer and load up.
So not only are you going to get the information how to do it, they're going to get you everything you need to go out and to do it. The only problem is, will you have a current license to go out and do it? So let's chat.
Well,
Let's chat a little bit about that, about how the bear range is expanding. We talked about that last time we had you on. Do you think the state is going to be expanding tag numbers?
they did a little bit this year. They added a few more tags to some of the zones, and I think it's a good thing. The bear population is high, and the points creep has been making it more and more difficult to get a tag. So there's just more people applying for tags than there are tags, to the point where it gets a little harder each year. There's some zones that 5 years ago, it took you 3 or 4 points, and now it takes 5 points to draw. And so it's good that they're adding a few tags. They're recognizing that the bear population is increasing, and the harvest needs to go up a little bit. So we're moving in the right direction now.
That's definitely a good thing. And I don't know if it's maybe a more of an awareness thing on my part, or if it's truly something that's growing, but it seems to be more and more people are talking about bear hunting. They're talking about the sport. They're excited about it. And that's really a lot of credit to you and shows like this and things that are out there really telling people what it's about. Bernie, before we end our segment, I definitely want to give you a chance here. Is there a place as far as the International Black Bear Show, a website people can go? Do they need to buy their tickets ahead of time? What are the hours of the dates that you've got going? And just what are some of the demographic information that you need to know about the show?
Okay, so the show is July 31st through August 2nd. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And all the information is at blackbearshow.com. You can go on there and see the vendors and see the floor map of the booths. You can see the seminar schedule and the hours and everything like that. You can actually buy your tickets ahead of time online, so you can get in the short line, I guess I would say. I tell people, if you don't want to stand in a long line at the door, you can just get your tickets ahead of time, and you'll have a QR code on your phone. You just walk up and they scan it and you walk in. So it's worth doing that. It's only $15 per person to get in, and it's a whole weekend pass. You can come all 3 days for the same price. So yeah, it's definitely worth it for anybody that's interested in bear hunting. If you're coming even from North and South Dakota and you want to book a bear hunt in Manitoba, this is a place where you can talk to multiple outfitters in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta about a bear hunt and meet them face to face, and just hang out with other bear hunters. That's the cool part of it.
Yeah, and I got to believe if someone wants to book a trip with an outfitter in Manitoba or Saskatchewan, some of these outfitters' other clients are probably there at the show. So you can just
Right. Yeah.
talk with them and get a firsthand experience as to how it went and what all happened. Bernie,
Yeah, for sure.
we really appreciate all that you do for the black bear community and with your outfitter. If people would like to find out more about booking with you, how can they reach out to you directly?
So they can go to berniesbearcamp.com, but I'll warn you, I'm completely booked up through 2028, and I'm about half booked for 2029 and 2030. So I have a lot of interest in hunting with me. So, but you can go to berniesbearcamp.com or the blackbearshow.com, and you can get all the information on the show or the bear hunts.
All right, Bernie, we really appreciate you coming on Gone Outdoors, as always.
Thanks for having me on. Good to talk to you guys, as always.
Stick around. We'll be back with the second half of today's Gone Outdoors after the short break. This is Scotty and Kyle. If you're in the market for a new fishing boat, you've got to check out Ray Sport Marine in Moorhead. They've got a huge lineup of Lund boats, all powered by Mercury outboards.
From chasing walleyes to pulling the kids on tubes and skis, there's a Lund built for every kind of adventure, with a Mercury on the back to power through it all.
Visit Ray Sport Marine in Moorhead, just north of Menards, or explore their full Lund and Mercury lineup anytime at raysportmarine.com.
Welcome back to the second half of this morning's Gone Outdoors. Kyle Agre and Scott Brewer of Brewer Agre Outdoors. Talking hunting, talking fishing, and talking anything you can do outdoors here on KWSN and Kello News Talk in Sioux Falls and the mighty 790 KFGO Fargo. We are excited. Our guest now is going to be a very familiar voice to those who are listening into this morning's show on KFGO. Doug Leier, North Dakota Game and Fish outreach biologist and co-host of the KFGO Morning Show. Doug, welcome to Gone Outdoors.
Well, it's a pleasure to join you guys. I'm also a fan too. I listen to you guys on Saturday mornings on KFGO at 11 o'clock. And when I miss the show, I'm listening to podcasts. One of the things that you guys got to realize, and maybe you grew up in the era I did, but there was a time when we would read the Fargo Forum, John Lohman's column as Game and Fish employees to kind of find out what's going on. And I had this Shazam moment when I was listening. A couple weeks back, you had Levi Jacobson, the assistant chief of wildlife, on talking about some of the, the deer lottery, the mechanics of it. And it's a great refresher. So you guys do a great service to the hunters, the anglers, the conservation theme, and the folks that work for the DNR and the Game and Fish departments as well. So I appreciate all you guys do.
Well, thank you, Doug. There's a lot of respect coming from our seats, looking towards the job that all of you at Game and Fish do, and that's whether it's North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, wherever you're listening in from. It's hard to please everybody, and you guys have a mission, and you do some really, really good work. So thank you as well. And we've taken the month of July, and we've taken one segment out of our show each week, and we've kind of talked about getting ready for the hunting season. Because as we all know, summer's here and we're all soaking up the sun and enjoying it, but we're going to blink a couple times and it is going to be the hunting season. And so a little bit of pre-work is always advised. And, so many times people have their own hunting land, right? And some of the food plot segments and some of the things like that are good stuff, but there's far more people that don't have that public or don't have that private land, and they're looking to public land access. So that's why I wanted to have you on to the show today and talk a little bit about what North Dakota Game and Fish does for those who are looking to access public land.
And you've got a great point, because our early Canada goose season, our August Canada goose season, I try to live in the moment, but as you're referencing, you got to get ready, because I believe it's about a month away. I think it might be August 15th this year, Saturday, August 15th. Don't quote me on that yet, but the message is you need to be preparing now. And there's a lot of guys and gals that are getting their dog ready. They start to get themselves physically ready for it. And the planning of the hunt and looking for spots to hunt is something that you really get out what you put into it. And I can't encourage folks enough right now. If you're looking for a new spot to hunt, right now is a great time to do it. Go on that Sunday drive on a Saturday afternoon, whatever you call it, and start exploring some of the areas. Our plots program, our private land open to sportsmen, our wildlife management areas, and if you want to look at waterfowl production areas, they're never going to be everything to everyone. But what they can is they can provide you a place to start. And you head out there and maybe go for a little walk and get yourself a little physical exercise and check out some new areas. Maybe, kind of channel a little bit of your inner Lewis and Clark and explore some new areas. And you just might find yourself a hidden gem. And at the same point, do that with intention of, if I find maybe a farmer, a rancher, a landowner, and they're not, you don't want to stop them on the road because they've got work to do, but pull up and visit. And if they need a hand fixing fence, if they need a hand with anything, the genuine intention of saying, what, I'd love to help you out. I've got the rest of my afternoon. If you need some help, I'd be more than happy to do it. And not as okay, this is how I'm going to get access, but just lending that helping hand goes a long ways. And maybe a couple weeks down the road, you can go out there and shoot a Canada goose. Just saying, hey, can I hunt your property with my bow archery season? Or can I come out there opening weekend of pheasant season? I don't think that's the right expectation. But if you go out there in the early Canada goose season and say, I'd love to help reduce the population of those Canada geese that were getting into your soybeans, that might open that door. And I'd also suggest changing your mindset and not looking for an opportunity on an opening weekend, no matter what it might be. Plan your vacation for a Tuesday and Wednesday, and you may find more landowners willing to say, oh, yeah, opening weekend, my son or daughter or their friends are going to be back, or I'm saving it for myself. But yeah, if you want to come back here on Tuesday or Wednesday, by all means. So there's some tactical and some intentional steps that hunters can be taking right now.
Doug, those are all very good points. And when you first started talking there about just going and helping out wherever you can, one word popped into my mind, and that's karma. I mean, I'm a firm believer in karma. If good things happen to good people, and if you want good things to happen out in rural North Dakota to you, you got to be good to rural North Dakota. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't think we can stress enough. You've got to realize that, similar to a lot of things in life, you're going to reap what you sow, and whatever kind of energy and resources you put in, it's not just a one and one. There's a give and take, and there's an expectation. And I think of some of the devastation that took place a couple weeks ago over at Floyd Lake, and we're all in this together. You got an afternoon and you got a chainsaw, go help somebody else. And that happened last summer in the Cheyenne Valley, and people just showed up with a chainsaw. And the next thing you know, the reason wasn't there to find a spot to turkey hunt, but you form those connections and those bonds. And that's a thing that you just can't put down on paper, is forming that real connection versus showing up on Friday night before opening day and expecting, oh gosh, can't believe this guy is not going to let me go pheasant hunting on Saturday. I almost want to apologize to the landowners, because I know that happens. And in fact, you guys were visiting with Brad Miskovich a couple weeks back, the Cheyenne fishing coach, and just talking about how we really need to remove ourselves from negative situations. And if you get maybe a negative vibe, don't try to push the issue. Just turn around, walk away. It's not worth it. If the guy is frustrated, maybe his cattle got out last fall, or even 10 or 15 years ago, you don't ask him 3 times and 4 times and think he's going to change his mind. The best thing that you can do for hunter-landowner relations is to remove yourself from some of those negative situations. And it goes back to what you kind of referenced, is using plots land, using game management areas, waterfowl production areas as a place to start, and then maybe trying to fork out from there and try to find some other opportunities in those areas.
Doug, that is such great advice. And we've got about a minute left of our segment. And I want to make sure, if we've inspired somebody, young or old, to get out and go on a drive and do some exploring and maybe shake some hands and help some people out, how do they find a map, a guidebook, something so that they know these plots, these waterfowl production areas, estate game management areas, and where they are at?
You just go to the Game and Fish Department website, just Google North Dakota Game and Fish, and you click on hunting. And if you want to go upland game hunting, waterfowl hunting, big game hunting, it's the click right there. And that's a great place to start, to find mapping services, to find species information, to find season dates. And when it comes to plots, a lot of that is online. We've got some great services. A lot of people are using Onyx now. That's another fantastic resource to use. And kind of goes back to what Scotty was saying. The more time you put into preparing for your hunt, the better expectations you can have. And Saturday morning at 5:30 a.m. is not the first time to open up the app and go, I wonder how this thing works. So again, that preparation and the backside of July is when things really need to start, guys.
Doug Leier, North Dakota Game and Fish outreach biologist and co-host of the KFGO Morning Show. Doug, as always, great information, great advice, and just super having you on here. Thanks for taking some time with us this morning.
Yeah, much appreciated. Thanks for what you guys do. Keep up the great work and have a great summer, what's left of it.
Folks, don't go away. We're not done yet. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more Gone Outdoors.
At Acme Tackle, innovation meets results, from legendary cast masters to proven trolling and jigging baits that flat out catch fish.
When it's time to finesse, power, or fill the live well, reach for Kalen's Plastics. Lifelike action, proven colors, and the soft plastics that fish just don't let go of.
And tie it all together with Elliott fishing rods, lightweight, sensitive, and built for anglers who demand performance on every cast.
Acme Tackle, Kalen's Plastics, and Elliott fishing rods. Fish smarter, fish harder, and fish confident.
Hey everybody, thanks for sticking with us on today's Gone Outdoors show. You're listening to Scotty Brewer, Kyle Agre of Brewer Agre Outdoors, and you're listening on KWSN or KELO in South Dakota, or KFGO, the mighty 790 in Fargo-Moorhead. We have with us on this segment, I'm not going to say we saved the best for last, because honestly,
you
Kyle,
can say that.
We've had a very good show. We've had a very, very good show. On this segment, we're going to chat with Joel Nelson. Joel, if you're a longtime listener of our show, you've heard Joel talk crappies, we've talked bass, we've talked walleyes, we've talked pretty much anything that swims. Joel can catch it. But now we're going to talk a little bit more strategy. Joel
Yeah,
Nelson, he's a senior market manager for Onyx Fish. How you doing, Joel?
doing good. This is exciting. It's always fun to hang out with you guys.
So speaking of exciting, when Onyx Fish came out here, that was exciting. Actually having, most outdoorsmen knew what Onyx was, but now to have Onyx Fish and everyone's mind just started going bonkers. It's like, holy cow, are you kidding? I can have that app for fishing. And you guys have
Yeah,
done that. And you have
yeah.
done that. You started
No,
out
it's
with Minnesota, Wisconsin, and now I think you're up to 11 states. The last one was Montana. And it's just super, super cool to see. And being the marketing manager, you got to see all the excitement that you're creating.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I for years have been using fisheries data to try to get an edge, and a lot of us have been using the DNR Lake Finder, and now all that's at your fingertips in Onyx Fish. So all those shows we used to film, all that TV and video work we used to do, informed by this data, by these data, now everybody gets to use it, and it's been a lot of fun just hearing how anglers are out there using it.
So, and you can use it on your browser, or you can use it on the app on the iPhone and now on the Android phones as well. So there is
Yeah,
no excuse not to get it. I mean, and it's not expensive. It really isn't. And for all of the stuff that you had said that, you talked about all the fish data, but there's just so much more on there, so much more.
yeah, we've been really busy, and I think a cue that you kind of led into, it's on web. So if you've got a laptop or a desktop at home, you want to use this on a little bigger screen. We tend to release and pre-release some of our features out of the web side of things. So you'll see one on there now on fisheries trends, where you can see catch per unit effort trends. If this is a lake that's trending upward in time or downward, we've got things like wind on the map where you can see visually what shorelines are getting piled into wind, what was getting heavy winds 3 days ago, or what will be getting wind 3 days from now. So, yeah, there's a ton of different features on there, and no matter how you're using it, Android, iOS, or the web, anything you save, anything you create is stored on your account, and it's visible in both directions. So, yeah, you're always good to go.
Yeah, and no more toggling between different apps for this and that and everything else. It's all in one app. You can just you can pull up the data you want as you want it. And Joel, we talked a little bit of this about this off air before we went on, and our listeners have to hear it because I think it's so cool. You have now added something called fishing areas powered by verified catch data, and I want you to share your explanation that you gave to Scott and I as we were talking about it with all of our listeners because it's super cool.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of users, like you guys have noticed in the app, there's these kind of purple areas, purple polygons that are showing up on the different lakes that they fish. And you click on these polygons and it gives like a certain percentage readout of fish caught and when they were caught, spring, summer, fall, what species, that kind of thing. It's important to know that these areas are not guesses. They're not predictions on where fish were or could be. This is actually from individual catches, from tournament data, professional fishing guides, individual pros, trusted fishery sources, hook and line sampling. There's a lot of different data that Onyx has gone out and secured to create the points and then created polygons from there so that we're not spot burning. We're not trying to show off where somebody won a tournament on the spot. We're trying to give anglers a good heads up if they've never been there, when and where they could expect to start first and likely find success in short order.
Boy, Joel, and something else that a very good point that you had brought up is these are not from the people that are users of Onyx Fish.
Correct. Yeah, this is not your waypoint data. This is not us tracking you. This isn't Big Brother. We will never utilize your own data against you. This is stuff that we purchased. We got external from lots of different sources, brought it all together. And again, it's just such power because these are actual data. These are actual catches. This isn't a projection based on time or weather or anything like that. That kind of stuff's fun too. But going where fish were actually historically caught has a lot of power. It has a lot of usefulness to anglers everywhere, and we recognize that, and they're bringing it to everybody else.
Well, it really gives you a head start when you go to a new lake. You know, and the first thing I did when this came out was I looked at all the lakes that I normally fish, and I'm like, let's see how accurate this is. And holy cow, it's pretty darn accurate. I was like, I got to figure out where you got all this information. But
well, I think the other part that's cool is that you can see that it doesn't always follow exact contours. It follows where anglers found fish and where they caught them. Could be a big flat, could be featureless, could be a neat little rock pile that doesn't show up on many maps. Could be a number of different things, but either way, it's informative.
There's so many of us that will have a couple hours to go try out a new lake, or maybe a half a day. But this will really break down that lake, and it gives you a head start, which really is super, super helpful for anybody anytime you go to a new lake.
Yeah, we're just really impressed with how our engineers have put all this together, and it's not the last feature we're going to add. We're constantly working on new things to show off for anglers, and ultimately, it's got to provide benefit to you out on the water or when you're back at the office, killing work time and just planning and dreaming about fishing trips.
Hey, Joel, I know that a lot of our listeners have taken advantage of what is offered through the Onyx Fish platform. But for some of those who have not, let's make sure they know where to get it and how to access this data and information.
Yeah, great point. You can always go to onyxfish.com and just go straight to our webpage. And the cool part about that is there's so much in the way of learning resources. There's links to our master classes to help you not just become a better angler, but use the app better to do it. And you can always sign up for a subscription there, or you can go directly to the Google Play Store if you're an Android person, or go to the App Store on iOS and download it directly and pay for it there. So really, it's up to you how you get it. But at the end of the day, it's going to be something that's going to be really useful and helpful for you at, like Scotty said, a fraction of the cost. At $34.99 a year, it's cheaper than so many of the other things that we do, and it lasts all year. And right now it's 10 states and growing, upwards of 11. We're adding Nebraska and Kansas very soon. That'll be 12 total. Plus Montana, we're really expanding and looking to do even more of that.
And I believe we can get you a head start with that, because if you're on onyxmaps.com and you use the code BA Outdoors, you'll get a 20% discount.
Yes, exactly. Go to that website, onyxfish.com or onyxmaps.com. Go to the fish page, sign up there, and BA Outdoors gets you 20% off.
All right, Joel, we really appreciate you coming on Gone Outdoors and talking about this. Hopefully our listeners will check it out, because if they do, they'll be as excited as Kyle and I are.
Yeah, and they'll look smarter to their buddies, right? They'll have the brag. They'll have the brag potential going on.
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care, guys.
Special thanks to our show sponsors: Ray Sport Marine, Adventure RV, Devil's Lake Tourism, Valley Truck Gear, Strand Ace Hardware, the Outdoor Adventure Foundation, the Outdoorsman, Onyx Fish Midwest. Thank you for tuning in to today's Gone Outdoors. Follow along when you're on the water or in the field. Gone Outdoor Podcast. KFGO.com, KWSN.com, KELO.com, Apple Podcasts, or on Spotify. Visit us at Brewer and Kyle Outdoors for all kinds of great information, and follow us on social media. Till next week, from Scotty and Kyle, we will be Gone Outdoors.